So נתיבות שלום, ספר בראשית, פרשת לך. We're talking about Avram and Lot. וילך אברהם כאשר דיבר השם וילך איתו לוט. Right, so Avram, in this parasha, get the commandment from Hashem to go, לך, right, מארצך ומולדתך, and he took his wife, of course, and his nephew. Yeah, Lot is his nephew. Yes. Okay, and he take all the people that he converted, all the אנשים שהם עשו והנפש יצאו בחרם, and they go. So he said, to explain this parasha, לבאר עניין הפרשה, שהתורה הקדושה מספרת באריכות מתחילה את הליכתם יחד, ועד שאברהם אמר לו, ייפרדנה מעליי, right? So the Torah is speaking lengthily about how they walked together, they started the journey together, until the time Abraham told him, enough is enough, we need to separate. So, אנחנו יודעים שהתורה זה לא סיפורים היסטוריים. Right? We know the Torah is not history. It's teaching us something. It's infinite. It's נצחיות. So what do we learn from here? So we can say, יש לומר בהקדם, that in the beginning of the parasha, בתחילת הפרשה, ואומר השם אל אברהם, לך לך מארצך ומולדתך ובית אביך אל הארץ אשר אראך. Right? So at the beginning, Hashem told Abraham, you go from your country, from your homeland, from your father's house, to the land that I'm going to show you. And Rashi explained, לך לך להנאתך. You go for your own benefits, for your own good. And the מפרשים, they ask, שאלו, מה העניין אומרו להנאתך ולטובתך? So what is the benefits here? What is his pleasure? שהרי אברהם אבינו נקרא אברהם אוהבי, right? אברהם is called אברהם my beloved. שעבד להשם יתברך מאהבה, שלא למה לקבל שכר. ומדוע צריך לומר לו להנאתך ולטובתך? So Abraham is called my beloved. He served Hashem out of love and not to get any reward. So why Hashem needs to tell him, you need to go, by going there, you're going to get a reward. You're going for your own benefit, for your own good. He doesn't need to say that.
הוא היה הולך גם אם לא היה אומר לו את זה, כמו שהוא
בדיוק,
עשה את...
exactly. He didn't need to get the שכר, the reward. He will go by himself, right? Because Hashem told him, you need to go, you go. You don't ask, you don't wait for whatever you're going to get from it. And beside that, מהי בכלל הנעותיו ותאוותיו של אברהם אבינו חוץ מדבר השם? And beside that, what's the benefit on his own good besides doing Hashem's will? Right? The two questions here. Why Hashem promised him something? And second, he doesn't need anything besides Hashem doing Hashem's will. ויש לומר, we can say, according to what it says in the holy books, לעניין מאמר השם אל אברהם, לך לך מארצך, שהוא דבר השם הראשון שמצינו בתורה. So we find here, this is the first time when Hashem actually speak to Abraham, and Hashem teaching him, Hashem הורה לו בזה דרך העבודה, את הדרך בעבודת השם, איך יגיע להיות דבוק בשם. So Hashem here is actually teaching Abraham and us, of course, the way, the path to serve Hashem. איך יגיע להיות דבוק בשם, how we can cleave to Hashem. What's the process? So first, בראשית הוא כל, לך לך מארצך. Go from ארצך. So ארץ in Hebrew, you translate it to country in English, but we know that in לשון הקודש, we have the essence, יש את המהות של כל מילה בלשון הקודש. The essence is in the word, and it's not agreemental, right? זה לא שפה מוסכמת, it's לשון הקודש. So ארץ is ארצי. ארצי is like earthial thing, like the physical thing of whatever a person is attached to. So first,
כמו חומריות?
חומריות, exactly. ארציות, חומריות. So first you have to go and detach yourself from all the physical things. וכן ממולדתך ומבית אביך, from your homeland and your father's house. He said, all of these things, basically, it's not literally the father or literally the homeland, but it is something that is character attached or drawn to it. קרבת רוח אליהם, ומטבעו רוכש להם אהבה. דברים גשמיים, דברים שאפילו יכולים להיות קצת יותר רוחניים מגשמיים, אבל דברים שבן אדם דבוק אליהם, וזה משהו שהוא לא כל כך טוב. So he need to remove the love or the desires from all of these things, right? Where, what to do with that? To the land, אל הארץ אשר אראך. So after all, right, we know that the Torah, or Hashem, doesn't want us to detach ourselves totally from the physical things or from this world. Right? השם, הקדוש ברוך הוא לא רוצה להרחיק אותנו מהדברים פה בעולם הזה. הוא ברא אותם בשבילנו ליהנות מהם. אבל הכל במידה. Right? השם want us to invest our love in loving of השם. לאהבת השם. כי שני הדברים אינם יכולים להיות כאחד. It's impossible to be one thing. It's impossible that a person would like to be attached and put all of his effort, investment, love in this world, and also to be attached and love spiritually. טוב, אדם לא יכול להידבק ולאהוב את הדברים פה, וגם להיות רוחני. And therefore it says you have to detach yourself from your land, from your homeland, from your father. להתנער, to shake off. Now it doesn't mean that we don't need to eat, or we don't need to work for our living, or pay bills, etc. Yes, but that's not the main thing. The main thing is Hashem. Why? Because it says, צריך להתנער, we need to shake off all of this matter of this world. כי כל ענייני העולם הזה מסתירים את עיני האדם שלא יראה באור אלוקותו יתברך. Because all of these things in this world, right? Hashem created a perfect system of, a balanced system of free will. Hashem ברא בחירה חופשית. את כל העולם הזה הוא ברא בצורה כזאת שייתן לנו את האפשרות לעשות בחירה חופשית. אז הדברים מכסים את העיניים שלנו. So we will not see the light of Hashem, they're covering our eyes. And this is when Hashem is teaching Abraham, he's telling him, you have to go in that detachment from this world, from the physical things, and going to the place that I'm going to show you, that will be for your own good, for your own benefit. Because you're going to be cleave in Hashem, and you're going to have a pleasure from the glory of the Shekhinah. לא יהיו לך הנאות אחרות, מלבד ההנאה להיות דבוק בהשם, לא תמצא בשכינה. ועל זה אמר לו הקדוש ברוך הוא, you cannot achieve that level of pleasure from the Shekhinah together with the pleasure of this world. אי אפשר להגיע להנאה של נהנים סביב השכינה, יחד עם הנאת העולם הזה. So first you have to shake off. ובזה יבואר, and that will be explained, the המשך הפרשה, the continuance of the parsha. Right? as it says, דכתיב וילך אברהם כאשר דיבר אליו השם. And Abraham walked in the path or the direction that Hashem told him. It means Abraham הלך בדרך ובשיטה הזאת, like he went and used this method that Hashem told him, teach him. לקיים לך מארצך, right, that he detached himself from the physical thing until he reached to the level of your own goods for your own benefits, the spiritual one. וילך איתו לוט. So now we have Lot. We know that Hashem created the world in a certain method or concept. יש עיקרון. We breathe in, we breathe out. We're active, we have to sleep. Right? We have good inclination, we have bad inclination. יש יצר טוב, יצר רע. נושמים, נושמים בחוץ. We breathe in, we breathe out. So Lot basically is the yetzer hara. Right? Again, sometimes we need to put these stories and do not take them literally, but to understand the spiritual level of it. So Abraham is the good neshama, is the good inclination. And together with that, Hashem created the evil inclination. And it's going with us together wherever we go. Sometimes a person tries to run away, and he ran away. The only problem that he's taking with him himself. He cannot really run away. טוב, לפעמים אדם בורח. הבעיה שכשהוא בורח, הוא בורח עם עצמו, הוא לוקח את עצמו לאיפה שהוא בורח. So Lot came with him. Right? וזה שנאמר, וילך איתו. And it says in the book, מאור עיניים. People here say מאור עיניים, but it's מאור עיניים. שלכן אמר אברהם אל לוט, כי אנשים אחים אנחנו. Right? So Abraham told Lot, we are brothers. But truly he was not his brother, he was the son of his brother, he was his nephew. והנה חז"ל אמרו, in בראשית רבה, לוט שטוף בזימה היה וכמעשה דבנותיו, right? So Lot was have a desire for immorality thing, for a riot. Eventually we saw that he was with his daughters. He said, והיינו שמידתו הייתה כמו של אברהם. So he have a midah of love, like Avraham Avinu, chesed ואהבה, kindness and love, but we know, midah keneged midah, and we know this and the opposite. So with Avraham Avinu, it was a positive love. With Lot, it was a negative love. אהבה נפולה. שאף היא יצא ממקור אחד למידת אהבה שלהם. Although they were like, Avraham told him, we are brothers, we are like from the same place we were born, right? From same root. But he took it to the wrong way. And therefore they called him Achim אנחנו Achim, brothers. And it says in the Zohar HaKadosh, Shalot Yetzer Hara. In the Zohar it says, Lot is the evil inclination. Which means there are few evil inclinations, right? Different type of them. יש יצר הרע נקרא לבן, right? לבן, as it says, ארמי עובד אבי. And there is evil inclination that called Esav, right? And Evan, like a stone, יצר הרע, etc. צפוני, the north one, right? וישנו יצר הרע בחינת לוט. So each one of them have like the aspect, the context of that יצר הרע. And Lot, what is Lot's theme? שעניינו עירוב טוב ורע. So Lot, the inclination of Lot is mixing the good with the bad. Which means he had a level of love, but the negative one. So he was using it in the wrong things. Avot nefulot, it's called, like a falling down love. He wanted to enjoy this world and he wanted to enjoy spiritualism. He wanted to go with Avram, but anything to do with Avodat Hashem, right? He didn't want to do it much, right? It's like, I'll give you an analogy. Maybe somebody goes to shul and he daven, not for davening to Hashem, but because at the end of the davening there is a kiddush and he wants to eat. He cannot just go and eat. So he daven, in prayer, מתפלל. מתפלל בבית כנסת, שעתיים, 2 hours, so he can enjoy the food. So he loved the food, but he doesn't want to do the spiritual thing. So he look at it as a burden, right? As a netel, as all. So this is Lot, for example, or this is the evil inclination that we have within us, right? It says, וגם ללוט הולכת אברהם, שעניינו, as it says in Mishlei, right? Mishlei it says, הולכת חכמים יחכם, ורואה כסילים ירוע. So somebody that goes to the wise people, he will be smarter. And somebody that is like a shepherd of the fools, he will become fool more. Which means these two things together. להיות הולך עם חכמים וגם רואה כסילים. But it says, the Mishlei, when it says, הולכת החכמים יחכם ורואה כסילים ירוע. So he doesn't mean if somebody goes to the wise people, he will be smarter, and somebody that goes to the stupid one will be stupider. No, he said somebody that goes to the wise people and the same person goes also to the stupid people, that doesn't go together. He will be confused, and eventually it will be even worse than just to go to the stupid people, with the stupid people. And that was Lot. שהלך עם אברהם בכל מסעיו. So Lot joined the journey with Abraham. But also, he was Roek Silim, he was like the shepherds of the fool. Why? Because when he saw Sodom and the Kikar in that place, that it's all mashke, it's all alcohol. Right? So he went with the wicked people. The Torah doesn't say we cannot drink, but that's not the main thing of our life. וכאמור שזו בחינה יצר הרע, this is the evil inclination of love, mixing the bad and the good, or the good and the bad. And for that Avraham said, ועל זה אמר אברהם אלו, תיפרדנה מעליי. We have to separate. Get off me. Because we cannot have these two things together. And after that, ואחר כך כתיב, והשם אמר אל אברהם, אחרי פרד לוט. Right? So now actually Hashem is continuing the Avraham journey. And now after Lot left, Hashem told Avraham, שא נא עיניך וראה מן המקום אשר אתה שם, צפונה ונגבה וקדמה וימה, right? Lift up your eyes and look from where you're standing. You go north, you go south, right, east, west. The entire land that you see, I'm going to give it to you and to your descendants forever. Forever and ever. Whoever is listening to this recording, the land of Israel belongs to the Jews. It's a promise from God, from Hashem. Very simple. And also he said, ושמתי את זרעך כעפר הארץ, and your descendant will be like the soil in the ground, like the sand. שיש לומר, but it says, why Hashem used the analogy of the descendant will be like the dirt or the soil of the ground? למה כעפר הארץ? למה השם משתמש במילים האלו? שהרי מצינו בתורה, because we found in the Torah that Hashem was using, or the Torah was using a different analogy, like the star in heaven, or the sand of the sea. So why it says here specifically the dirt, the soil from the land? And the explanation, שהקדוש ברוך הוא אמר לאברהם, השם told אברהם, שכדי שיהיה בכוחם של זרעך לירש את הארץ, in order for your descendants to have the merit or to have the strength to inherit the land, and to achieve that appropriate level of inheritance of the ארץ ישראל, ולהשיג הדרגה הראויה של ארץ ישראל. As it says, ארץ אשר השם אלוקיך דורש אותה, because the land of Israel is under Hashem's eyes, metaphorically. They need to have the level of achna'ah, right? Humble, being humble. That's why the land of Israel also called Eretz Canaan, not because of the Canaanim that live there, but because the land of the humbles, הנכנעים, ארץ של הנכנעים, like the dirt, like the soil of the land, like the same level of אברהם אבינו, כמו המדרגות של אברהם אבינו שמה, ואנוכי עפר ואפר. But Abraham said, I'm dirt and ashes. And therefore Hashem said, okay, I'll make your descendant like עפר הארץ, and then they will inherit in the land, which is ארץ כנען, שהיא ארץ הנכנעים. שהנכנעים, the one that are humble or surrendering themselves to Hashem, they are the one that will inherit the land. And he says in the Torah Tavot, from the Saba Kadosh Melechov, זכותו הגן עלינו, על הפסוק, and it says on the verse, טובה ארץ מאוד מאוד, that the land is very, very good. And it's according what it says in Masechet Avot, מאוד מאוד הווה שפל רוח. Right, so if you're saying, it's like גזרה שווה, right, that you learn from a pasuk, טובה הארץ מאוד מאוד, talking about the land that is very, very good. And Avot saying, מאוד מאוד, very, very, be humble, very, very. Then you understand that very, very is related to the land and to being humble. So therefore, if you're very humble, very, very humble, you will inherit the land, which is very, very good. כן? אז הארץ טובה מאוד מאוד, והפסוק באבות אומר, מאוד מאוד הווה שפל רוח. אז הארץ שייכת לנכנע ושפל רוח. Then we'll inherit the Kedusha, and then we'll have the Kedusha of the land. And this is why when Hashem is told Abraham, ושמתי זרעך כפרת, and I put your descendant like the soil, like the dirt of the ground, because they will be humble. And we learned previously, right, or in the future, that the Bnei Israel, after the sin of the Meraglim, Hashem waited the 40 years, so all that generation will be wiped, and all left is the children that were become humble, and they could actually go into the land of Israel after the sin of the Meraglim. But that was relevant only after היפרד לוט מאמו, רק אחרי שלוט נפרד מאברהם. Because as long as a person have the mixture of bad and good and bad, he cannot achieve that level of being humble. Right? כי כל הזמן שיש עירוב טוב ורע, אין יהודי יכול להשיג מידת הכנעה שצריך ירושת הארץ, because again, to inherit the land, לראש את הארץ צריך להיות נכנעים. And if you have the evil inclination of Lot, which is mixing the good and the bad, it's impossible. And it says in the Bet Avraham, על הארץ אשר אראך, the land that I'm going to show you. So אראך בגימטריה, in numerical value, it's Shabbat. Again, Netivot Shalom, if we pay attention for the last, I don't know how many years we're learning it, is always almost concluding it with the Shabbat, with Shabbos, right? Because this is מקור הברכה. ועניינו the שני דברים אלו, these two things, Shabbos Kodesh and the land of Israel are like one. It's in the same context. אותה בחינה. שכמו שארץ ישראל ארץ שניתנה לנכלאים, the same way that the land of Israel is a land that we're giving to the humble one, שרק זה שהוא מאוד מאוד, only the one that is very, very humble, שפל רוח, gain and inherit the land to fill the Kedusha. The same thing in Shabbat. What is Shabbat? The letter of Shabbat, Shin, Bet, Taf, אותיות בושת, like being humble or busha. By entering to Shabbat is by the busha. When the Jew said, okay, 6 days, what did I do in the 6 days before I going into Shabbat? Did I learn enough? Did I do the chesed? What did I do? So he looked and he said, actually, I didn't do much. I didn't do much. So he's being embarrassed. He's being embarrassed. He's very humble. He's very humble. He will be able to get into Shabbat because he's nichna, right? When somebody is humble, when somebody is checking himself and he see, I didn't do what I promised that I'm going to do. I didn't deliver what I'm supposed to deliver. Then you're not feeling so good. You're feeling embarrassed. You know, I could do so much more. I didn't do, right? שבן אדם לא מצליח לעשות את מה שהוא רצה לעשות. אז הוא מרגיש מושפל, מרגיש בושה. אז על ידי זה הוא מצליח להיכנס לשבת כמו שצריך. And that's the path for us, the land, the path to get into the land of Israel, and also to the path to get into Shabbos Kodesh. Because they are the same thing, the same context. And וכוחו של אברהם אבינו היה במיוחד במידת ואנוכי עפר ואפר. So the strength of Abraham was specifically in the afar, the dirt and the ashes. That I'm nothing. Even though he have all of these levels and all the achievement, שאף על כל המדרגות והשגות שהשיג, הלך תמיד במידת ואנוכי עפר ואפר. He was always humble. It doesn't mean that he was depressed. It doesn't mean that he was like, like a nebech. No. He knew who he is. He knew that Hashem promised him. He talked to Hashem and everything. But he was not full of himself. He treated people in dignity. And we learned it from all the things, like when he was very poor and he was going down to Egypt, he went back to all the hotels and he paid back whatever he owes them. Right? But this is how he saw himself, very humble. הנה our sages are said, חייב אדם לומר מתי הגיעו מעשיי למעשה אבותיי אברהם יצחק ויעקב. So a person always should say, when I'm going to become like Avram, Yitzhak and Yaakov. And that's the question. הוא מקשים בזה, איך ייתכן שיצפה אדם לכך שיגיעו מעשיו למעשה אבותיו. And our sages, they said, how is it possible that the person will be like Avram, Yitzhak and Yaakov? They were in so high level. We were not related to that. How can we even look like them? Right? אלא הכוונה בזה יגיעו מלשון נגיעה קלה. So he said, you have to be like a little touch. At least a little touch. At least something like we will do like them. Right? As Rabbi Zupnik says in his Musar shiur, right? That when he's teaching Chovat HaLevavot or Ramchal, he said, we are not expected to be like them. But at least we should learn and to know how we should be. הוא אומר, אנחנו לא צריכים להיות, אף אחד לא מצפה מאיתנו להיות כמו הרמח"ל או להיות כמו רבנו בחיי בחובות הלבבות, או לפחות שנדע לאיפה אפשר להגיע, ומה צריך באמת להיות. אבל אף אחד לא מצפה שבאמת נגיע לשם. בסדר, ואם אמנם אין לנו שום השגה ונגיעה במדרגותיו של אברהם אבינו, if we don't really understand the level of Abraham, but at least in this level of ואנוכי עפר ואפר, because truly we can do much more than what we're doing, right? And we don't do it, unfortunately, for whatever reason. And here we learn. The reason is because Lot is with us. The evil inclination that mixing the good and the bad. And that's disturbing. This preventing from us to be cleaving to Hashem. היצר הרע של לוט שמערבב את הטוב ואת הרע מפריע לנו לדבק להשם. In the same way that we ask, right? Every end of 18, we said, right? בתפילה, ונפשיק עפר לכל תהיה. Right? We say words in the 18 after the ברכת שים שלום, right? ונפשיק עפר לכל תהיה. That my soul will be like a dart for everything. Oh, really? Somebody is stepping on our toes or doing something, we always retaliate. So no, we don't need to retaliate.
שלום רב.
Yeah. Yeah. Because only by having this level of being humble, like a dirt, we're going to inherit the land of Israel. לארץ אשר אראך, לירושת הארץ, ושבת קודש, and all the מדרגות of קדושה. So this is what the Torah is teaching us. Like, it's not just a story, זה לא רק סיפור על לוט ואברהם, זה על העניין של יצר הרע שהוא לוט, שהוא מערבב את הטוב והרע, אנחנו צריכים להרחיק אותו מאיתנו. We need to detach ourselves from Lot, from that evil inclination that mixing the good and the bad. And with that, we're going to be humble. Thank you very much for listening.